I feel that everyone has the ability to achieve beyond sometimes the expectations that are set up upon them, regardless of background, colour, creed or whatever. And our job as facilitators, my job as running this school, is to make sure that every child who walks in the door can make that progress. And we do that in a variety of ways, but it's about everyone achieving what they can, and fundamentally it's about building relationships with students to allow that to happen. I wrote the book when I was the deputy head and we were building a new school, and Building Schools for the Future was still alive and well. May it rest in peace. It's now no longer there. And we were given the opportunity to build a new school. And actually, strangely, I'd come to this building that I now am the principal of to get inspiration for the building that I was building at the time, along with my other senior colleagues. And what was really important from the outset, from our point of view, was if you're going to transform learning, which was the tagline for Building Schools for the Future, you had to engage in relationships and people and mindsets. So I suppose to answer your question, what would you want to get out of my book? Don't assume when you're building a new school or an extension or a refurb, whatever you want to do, don't assume it's about the panes of glass, the bricks and the mortar. You've got to think about the people first, and the people and what's going to go on in that building to then create the environment around it. Now that seems really, really simple, but actually it was totally forgotten. I felt when we started that process, and it was down to the school to actually force that through. I was at the time a deputy head in charge of curriculum, and I was desperately trying to pull down the walls of the national curriculum. This is going back in 2006, 2007. And I got together a group of teachers and I said, come on, we can do this. We don't need to understand the levels. We need levels of progress, of course. We know there's strong outcomes, but we need to enjoy that learning and get the kids involved in it. So I had a music teacher, I had history, geography, I had RE, art, and that was about it, PSHE. And we were sat there trying to plan a curriculum. It was only a 2-week curriculum. I was not discussing tearing the whole thing down the whole year, be ripped up and start again. And we were planning this, and about halfway through the second day of the 3 days, the art teacher, who'd only been teaching for 2 years, said, Jill, can I just ask you a question, because this curriculum you're talking about, when are you thinking of doing this? Well, I was thinking the first 2 weeks in October, actually, Claire. And she said, first 2 weeks in October. She said, I do still life at that point. I said, okay. I do pineapples in that time, and that's when I do pineapples. And I said, well, just don't do the pineapples. Leave the pineapples, put the pineapples to one side. Don't worry about the pineapples, put them away. No, I do pineapples in week 2 of October, and I would like to still do my pineapples. And this conversation went down this road of how important the pineapples were to her, and how she had to make sure that she'd written her scheme of work and she was going to stick to it, and that was it. It took me another day to persuade her that actually it didn't matter. I think the way in which you can support every child is often called differentiation. In this particular school, it's very diverse, with 64 countries of origin and 44 languages spoken. We have students with either no English at all or quite proficient but need a bit of help. And these students are working with English-speaking students as their mother tongue. So that's one example. What we do here is we differentiate the provision that we give to the students to allow them to access the curriculum. And I often say running a school is a bit like planning an outstanding lesson. You have to look at the children in front of you, you need to provide for their needs, cater for their needs, and you tailor it as far as you can. It's about reminding people of why we do it in the first place. Why are we here? We're here because we want to help people to achieve. And that's what I'd really hope that people can actually tap into.